Hey guys, how are you? Broadcasting live. Good to have you in here. It's a Christmas Eve 2018. And every night I go live on this YouTube channel. I welcome you to join. You hit the subscribe button and you can come in when you're notified. You can leave a comment. I'll read it live on the air. And we have a good time. In addition to that, what I do on this channel, I upload daily videos. But I also, on the live feeds, what I do is I pick one specific topic that I like to talk about, and then we let the conversation goes. The conversation goes wherever we want it to go, depending on what you guys say in the live chat. Like my guy Pack Live, the first one on the live chat. What's up, Sammy? What's going on, brother? I seen you on some guy's other YouTube channel today. Some guy who quit Walmart. I guess he lives out of his van. He had quit Walmart. And he's got child support. He's got a whole bunch of issues. But I saw you, brother. Good to see you, man. Hope you and your family are doing good. Jake, hey, Sam. Merry Christmas, bud. Merry Christmas to you. Hey, Rash, Canada's in the house. Merry Christmas, brother. Hope your van selling and all that stuff is going well. Good to see you. Keith, what's up, Keith? Thank you. Merry Christmas to you also. Thank you. I appreciate that. Jay Smith, love and respect from Monmouth County, New Jersey. Love and respect to New Jersey. I grew up in New Jersey for 37 years. Just about in this year, I moved to Florida. One of my life dreams. It's been worth it. Florida's been a blessing to me. I love it. I'll never go back to Jersey if I don't have to. But love and respect to Jersey. And Joy Rod, Merry Christmas, dog. Merry Christmas to you. I appreciate that. I appreciate the love. What we're going to talk about tonight is being homeless for the holidays. Because technically, I am homeless. I have been homeless for 2 years. I live out of my car and I live out of one bag. That's it. Now, for me, there's a level of a choice because I can choose to live a different lifestyle if I wanted to. I could choose to rent an apartment or to buy a house. So I understand there's difference as far as you. I have the ability to do something different with my life if I wanted to. Okay, but I've also been in a unique scenario where I have not just lived homeless, but I've worked with the homeless when I was in New Jersey. Some of the poorest parts in New Jersey, Newark, Elizabeth, and I've worked even in Manhattan somewhat. And I've traveled up and down the entire East Coast of the United States of America. And throughout my travels, I've been to some of the poorest towns and some of the wealthiest towns. I've stayed the night at truck stops, and I've seen people living there at rest stops. Recently, I was at a free campsite in Florida. There's some if you go to the Water Management District. And there's some people destitute there, just like there's some people recreational camping. There's people in the streets here in Florida with signs asking for help, um, just like everywhere. But the difference, between choosing to live in my car and technically having no choice, there's not hopelessness. So you can be homeless and not hopeless. If you're hopeless, the hopelessness comes from a standpoint of you don't feel like you can take care of yourself and you feel like you're drowning in life. Now, working with the homeless, what I can share with you is many do not want to go into shelters. Many do not want to go into any work programs. Many people want to just be left alone. And of course, they do want food and they do want a way of means, but they want to live their own life on their terms. They don't want to be controlled by a psychiatrist. They don't want. Many people have mental problems. Homeless. They don't want to be controlled by drug therapy. Many people have drug problems. They don't want to be controlled. Some of them don't want to be controlled by anyone, by any society. They choose to be homeless. But even the difference between them and me is there's a level of hopelessness because, I understand life is a game. I understand life is a game. So I understand I play the game to a certain extent. And somewhat, it needs to be a game. Everything in life is a game. But I have the ability to deal with things in a corporate world, and I have the ability to deal with things in the street. What have I learned? I've spent Christmases in beautiful somewhat mansions, gated communities. And I spent Christmases past due Christmas. Last Christmas, I spent in my car in a Wawa parking lot. This Christmas, I'm in a cafe parking lot. I have a reservation at a campground, a free one. I don't know if I want to travel there. I might go to a truck stop. And so I've had some unique experiences in living and bringing in the holidays in a beautiful luxury home and in a truck stop in my car, sleeping by myself. Homelessness, like I say, even people that don't have means, some people want to be homeless because they want to be left alone. They want to live their life on their terms. But there's a hopelessness, and there's a hopelessness that covers the underbelly of America and the underbelly of the world. It's the people that don't have the mental capacity and don't want to deal with life anymore. They've either made some mistakes, they can't recover from them. They don't want to play the game. And they don't understand that no matter what, life has to be a little bit of a game. And so in one sense, they may say, well, I don't want to play the game anymore, but they don't realize if there was no game, there would just be anarchy. And so even in their frustration, they may say, I don't care, let it be anarchy. They can't understand that that's not the path either. And there is just a high level of frustration because they're hopeless. When you're hopeless, you're frustrated with life. I get frustrated with life, and I wouldn't consider myself hopeless, but I certainly have days in this world where I don't want to be here. I don't want to be in this world. I don't want to deal with this shit. But I understand, to be thankful. I understand that I'm blessed, and I understand, Sam, it is what it is. Try to fulfill your purpose while you're here. Make the most of your life. Be thankful and enjoy your blessings, and, try to be a blessing. I understand that. Can you solve the hopelessness, the homelessness? Even people that have a home, they're hopeless. They may be, I know plenty of people, even I worked with people that were a year back on their mortgage. And they tried to refinance, they couldn't, they went into foreclosure, they lost their home. I know people that got so behind the eight ball with medical expenses and with debt that they had a high paying job and they stole from the company because of a hopelessness financially. Hopelessness is true homelessness. Doesn't matter if you live in a home or you live on the street. There's plenty of people I know that live this nomad life. They're very happy. There's some people I met in a campground recently. They're not rich. They're not totally poor. They live very basic, but they're overall making the most of their life. And they're homeless, but they have a level of hope because they're making the most of their life. Kind of similar to me. But I think a huge part of it is just getting past the mental aspect of, many people on this channel have been through a divorce. They've made some mistakes financially, and they feel hopeless. And either they're on the verge of living in their car, or even a few are living in their car. And I get a lot of comments, and I appreciate them, that, I give hope or I give inspiration that it doesn't have to be all bad. I enjoy my life as best I can. If you were really destitute and you had to live in your car, does that mean you're hopeless? No. I think in one sense, you may actually find yourself more happy than you were in the confines of a house or a shelter. I know people that have been in shelters, they don't like them. I know people that have stayed in apartments that doesn't inspire them. They don't like them. Looking around, there's people in their cars on the street. They'll go home. I'll be one of the few. I would say, if somebody Google what's the percentage on record. There's no way to keep 100% accurate records. What's the percentage of the United States of America society living homeless? I would like you to Google that right now and put that in a live feed. When I read the comments, we're going to talk about that. I think people living out of their cars got to be less than 1% of society in the United States of America. In America, we have approximately 325 million people. I would say it's got to be less than 3 million people living full-time in their car. So the homeless population in America, I would say, has got to be on the highest end, 3%, highest, maybe 5%. I would say no more than 5% of the population, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Let's see what you say. But let's just say, thank you, Jay Smith. He says 1.56 million people, or 0.5%, not even 1%. Half of a percent of the United States of America population are homeless. Thank you, Jay Smith. Love to you, brother. Thank you, Daddy Geek. We're going to get to all the live comments. So if less than a half or a half of 1% is homeless in America, that's very few. It's so few that it's not really enough to care about. You understand what I'm saying? That's what a lot of people feel. Now, people during the holidays, people care about the homeless because it's a time like to try to act like, you know, you're grateful. You want to be grateful and you want to go to let me tell you this, from working with soup kitchens and different things, the least time that soup kitchens and charities need help is the holidays. The least time, because everyone rushes to them to give them stuff. The most time they need help is in April, July, when you're on your vacation jet skiing in the summer. That's when soup kitchens need help. Just make a mental note of that. They don't need help during the holidays in most cases. But that being said, if less than 1% of the United States population is homeless, how many people are hopeless? I don't think you can Google that statistic. I think there's probably a higher, I would say there's probably 70%. I made a live feed the other night that 70% of the population is unhappy. And I believe that you can equivalate that to hopelessness. I would say 70% of society is hopeless and barely holding on to hope by a fair, small, thin piece of thread. That's what I think. That's what I think in my life travels. In my life travels in the wealthiest communities, my life travels in the poorest communities, my life travels up and down the entire East Coast of America. My conclusion is that the majority of society is hopeless. And they're holding on to hope with a thin string. And every time you see somebody smile at you, just remember, underneath that smile, exterior, in the interior, there's many hopelessness. Data Geek, that is too generous. Too generous. Thank you, Data Geek. That's very generous of you. Very generous. Thank you. How do you solve hopelessness? For some people, I don't think you can solve it. Well, what I do think you can solve and do, what I do think should be legislated is a universal basic income. I do. I think a universal basic income would give at least assurance that people have a level of means. And for those who want to work for more, would work for more. For those who still want to start businesses and do different things. Now, I don't want to let this go into politics, but what I'm trying to tell you is that it's the mental pain of knowing you're not going to be able to care for yourself and you're going to have to depend on family members. You're going to have to depend on unhealthy situations. You're going to have to go to soup kitchens. You know, what my experience in working with soup kitchens is, yeah, people will go there because they got no other options. But a lot of people, you know, do you really want to go there? Do you really want to go to the food pantry? Do you really want to use your food stamps? Do you really want to, you know, I mean, some people, there's no shame. But also at the same time, you know, those are a lot of programs that take away a level of hope, in my opinion, because you get caught in a system that is very hard to get out of. And life is just a mental battle. It's a mental battle. And I think sanity, they say there's a thin line between genius and insanity. Sanity is the ability to be able to play the game and not lose your cool. And I think once you stop wanting to once you once you stop once you get into a certain point where you've been broken enough by life and you no longer want to play the game, you're done playing the game. You can't handle the game anymore. You tried to play the game, you got beat up too much, and you're not going back in the ring. You get hopeless. And but I guess I'll just end the opening spiel and then we'll go to the live comments. And thank you again, Daddy Geek. I'll start with you. I appreciate it. Is that being homeless does not equal hopeless. But once you become hopeless, even if you have a physical home, you're empty inside. I mean, you're destitute. You can have a home and be destitute. You can be in an apartment and be destitute. You can be struggling with drugs, and even though you have a secure apartment, you feel hopeless. You can be struggling with gambling. You could be struggling with a relationship. You're going to get to points in this life where you feel hopeless. And really, when you get to that hopeless feeling, you may even look at wanting to be homeless, wanting to be living in your car. Why? Because you don't want to deal with life anymore. You're tired of playing the game. And those are my thoughts. Is there an answer? Again, I think one answer, is a universal basic income with no questions asked, no games played. You know, we go in debt as a society to subsidize oil companies. The industry of oil is one of the most subsidized companies in the world, in the country. Look it up. The oil industry subsidized. That's corporate welfare. We go in $1 trillion of debts for a lot of things. Does money make everything right? No. But having a certain level of money to know that you won't be hopeless, it does. It helps a little bit. Doesn't cure everything. It helps a little bit. Now you have to say that. You know, even when I speak to my mom, and excuse me, I know I'm going a little bit longer here. We're going to get right into live comments. Forgive me. Like even when I speak to my mom and I speak to senior citizens now, even senior citizens that have worked their whole life and are really depending on Social Security as their full-time income, the average Social Security check is about $1,200 per month. You know, $1,200 per month for 30% of those who are receiving that being their main source of income. You can't really live in an apartment in many cases. You can't really, buy foods and do those different things. And it's scary. And as you get older in life, you're more frail. You have less to you just have less to hope for. So I want to just share what I feel in my own life, what I feel when I talk to people, what I feel when I live in these streets and I see it. This is my report. I don't have to, visit, the homeless. I am the homeless. You understand what I'm saying? I may have a different mindset, but I am. There's, and you may be the homeless. You may be the hopeless. What are you? That's an important question to ask yourself. And that's an important thing to ask. What is society? If we really reflect on the season, the Christmas season, and where we're going as a society, not just on the Christmas season, but on every day. Like I say, the least time soup kitchens need help is Christmas time. But I think if society really got bad enough, if it really got hopeless enough, if there was enough pain out there, there would be change. And usually that's what it has to take. a lot of pain. There is a better way. Simplify your life and focus on what matters. Get clarity by eliminating what doesn't matter. And you're going to find that not a lot of things matter in this world as far as what you think. Very few things, materialistic wise, relationship wise, or everything, and very few things matter. But we spend most of our time focusing on what doesn't matter. And that's how we get hopeless. All right. Love and respect. And Data Geek, I hope you're still in here. I appreciate your patience. Thank you, Data Geek, for the generous super chat. It means so much to me. Why does it mean so much to me? Look, this is my creative gift that I love to be able to do full time. So it's another way for me to use my gift. And I just appreciate it. But you don't have to. I thank you for it and I acknowledge it. He says, you're never alone because you have a sis here in Arkansas. Go out and do something nice for yourself and know that I'm always with you. Well, I appreciate that. And I hope that is returned to you. I know you're taking care of your mother. I know you've been through some challenges at work this year, but it sounds like you hung in there. And I hope that you never get disillusioned by being a blessing. I hope that someone else is a blessing to you. And I also hope that I appreciate it sincerely. And that I think about everyone in here that's been supportive. I mean, part of this journey in using my gift through the YouTube platform and sharing, part of it is refining myself in who to spend my energy on. Because when you put yourself out there, when you use your gifts, there's a temptation to give your energy to people that don't like you or people that criticize you, because using your creativity is going to guarantee critics. So I try to be very honest in this channel. I try to share directly without manipulating, without squandering, without pandering. But I know plenty of, I'm not going to say plenty, but I know people that panhandle, or people that are on YouTube or whatever, and they act like they're destitute just to act like that. They don't want to tell what exactly they make on YouTube or what they do, because then they can cry the blues. So I try to be directly honest. Like, I could cry the blues. I could do this, I could do that. But I'm honest. I mean, I am trying to, while working a full-time job, build a side avenue to use my gift to live a more enriching life. Part of my reason for selling my house, living in my car, and downsizing was I knew that as I lessen my liability, I can spend more of my time using my gift and doing the things that inspire me in life, so that, I can live a more happier life, a more hopeful life. And you have to make a conscious effort in your journey to do that, because you can easily get sucked into this hopeless life. Because even as, I do more things that I want to do, every morning I wake up and I still have to fight negative, hopeless feelings. Every morning, every day, throughout the day. Like I know you do. I know everyone's the same. I know a lot of people will never speak on what I speak on, but they feel it. And thank you, Data Geek. And it's appreciated, it's reciprocated. And I hope that you can feel the sincerity of my thankfulness. And I hope that, you get blessed in many ways. And thank you. I appreciate it. Pack, Red Dad Jake, Red Dad Keith. J-Rod, Merry Christmas, dog. Thank you, Antonio. Merry Christmas, brother. Merry Christmas to you all. Thank you. Freyo, Merry Christmas. Jay Smith, good topic. Thank you. Pack, yes, he's a cool dude, but he plays the victim. Oh, okay, he's talking about, and that's what I mean. There was a guy on YouTube that I talked about. I know he lives in his car. He quit his job. I think he was working at Walmart, and I don't know his whole story. I only watched one video that came up as a recommended thing. look, if you ever in life, and this is what I've struggled with, if you ever in life want to do something, and if you need to ask for what you want, you need to put yourself in a position to get what you want, but you should never manipulate, play the victim, or pander, because that's all a form of manipulation. What I found in life and what I do in life, I'm not perfect, but I try to be honest. I try to be sincere. I try not to manipulate. But I also, you have to say, look, this is what I would like to do. This is what I hope to do. And then do it, whether you get paid or not, or whether you get compensated or not, or whether you get encouraged or not. Because there's more times that you won't get encouraged than you will. And, like any businesses are feast or famine. And there's times where things go great. And there's a lot of times where things don't go great. And there's nothing coming in. And, there may be a live chat. You get a super chat. Data Geek blessed me. And I thank you, Data Geek. And then there may be 10 where you get none. So what should you do? So everything you do in life should just be from your place of truth. And you pray that you are able to live an abundant life or live a hopeful life based off your truth, as long as it's not hurting someone. I think that's the answer. You don't want to preach that, it's a command from God to give me money. You don't want to sing the sad song. You don't want to not work. You want to put yourself in a position, honestly, sincerely, directly, to do what you can to become more hopeful and to become more of what you want to become. You want to become a YouTube star. You want to become whatever, electrician. You want to become a better person, whatever you want to become in life. It's all a matter of, look, it's going to be sometimes you get blessed and a lot of times you won't. It's feast or famine many times when it comes to getting blessed. And there's no way of telling. I know sometimes, when I've given to different people in different scenarios, it's usually off a feeling and out of the middle of nowhere. And the person who's on the receiving end, there's no way they could have planned to get it like that. And sometimes when I get blessed, I'm on the receiving end, it just comes out of nowhere, and it's a blessing. But there's going to be many times where nothing comes out of anywhere. And so what I can tell you in my life experience with regards to money, with regards to income, with regards to business, is that there's waves. And there could be a time where you feel like, money's being printed, and it could be a time like you feel like just famine. And there's nothing coming in and you're hopeless. What's the answer? The answer is every day just wake up and you try to do your best. You try to be productive. You try not to manipulate people to get ahead. And I think if you do that, my hope is that, God does direct your life where you're able to use your gifts. And as long as you're not abusing that and manipulating of that, I think that you end up hopefully where you're meant to be. Antonio, share that Florida warmth. Well, I will. Back in the 80s today here in Florida. It was a beautiful day today. I think a high 70s, South Florida. And it's cool at night. It's cool now. And so I'm thankful for that. I spent many years trying to get down here. It took me a few years. But it makes life a little bit better to feel that sun. Vitamin D, sunlight, it plays a part in your mental well-being. It plays a part in hope. I thought about that today. I woke up at a campground. I made a video. I slept a little bit late. And then I got up, and then, I felt a little bit emotional because I know it's Christmas Eve and, I'm kind of by myself. Nothing like very depressing, but just I felt something. And then I was like, what am I going to do? I said, I got to get this, that. And just like the monotony of the day, it started to get me down. And then, then I got up and I got going, and the sun was hitting me, and I put my sunroof down. I was listening to some music. Music heals the soul. I shared that today on my Instagram. My Instagram is the word inspire underscore 38. I posted music heals the soul, and it does. Music and the sunlight and listening to my music and walking, that makes me happier in life. It gives me more hope. Like after I walk for a little while and I'm in the sun, it gives me hope. If I was back in Jersey and there was dark clouds and it was cold, I would still walk, I would still listen to my music, but I wouldn't have a level of hope. I remember one of the last days at the office in New Jersey when I got my job transfer and I told them basically, look, I'm headed down to Florida. I remember like being like in my old manager's office, and we were with a couple of guys in my department. And I was just telling them, look, I appreciate my time working with you guys. I'm be going to this new department. I'm going to be going down to Florida. And I said, look, it was an easy decision for me because being up here with the weather and the cloudy weather, it wasn't good for my mental health. It wasn't good for my well-being. And I kind of really stood out in my mind when I was watching YouTube and I was watching The Ultimate Warrior when I was getting my health together. And I remember he did a video and it changed my life. And I don't even think it wasn't even that many views. And that's to prove to you, like a video doesn't have a lot of views to make effect in someone's life. And I was watching it and I was trying to get inspired. And I remember him just sharing that when he got to Arizona, he eventually moved to Arizona and that was his happy place, and the sun and how it played a difference in his life because he was from Indiana. And he said being around that extra sunlight helped him. And being around the Florida, the Sunshine State, it helps me. The warm weather helps me. It matters. I'm so thankful for Florida. I mean, it may sound like corny, but for me, it makes a difference. The warm, hot weather and the sunlight, for me, is like super important to my well-being. I mean, I uprooted my whole life for it. So it's like, it's like not even like I'm trying to give you like a tourism pitch. I uprooted my entire life. I moved down to Florida. I'm all here I'm by myself. You understand what I'm saying? There's no one, because it matters that much to me. That's powerful. Jada. Hey, Jada, you still with me? Hello, Sam. Blessings to you always. Thank you, Jada. I appreciate that. Jada, when I think of Jada, I think everyone in here, Jada has been through a lot of relationships. And I'm sure, when the relationships go sour, I'm sure it's the mental struggle she deals with in life, feeling hopeless. Because I think relationships are the number one cause of stress. After that's money. Relationships and money are top two causes of stress. And I know it's been a huge mental battle for you, Jada, to just go through the ups and downs of relationships and to try to find your sanity in what you want to do with your life and who you want in your life. And it's hard to be alone for you. And I feel that. I understand that. It's hard for you to be alone. I understand that. There is a season. For some people, it's a longer season than others. I'm not saying you should be alone, because for some people, it wouldn't be good for them to be alone too long. For me, it is, but not for all. But what I'm here to tell you, Jada and everyone, there's a season. It may be a short season for you, but there's a season of your journey that you have to walk alone to fully heal and to fully get your voice back. And so just make a mental note of that. Apathy. Apathy sucks. What's up, Apathy? Hey, Sam. Chilly in Boston. In the house. Excellent topic. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. These topics are my life, my actual experience, not a book, not a philosophy. This is my actual life experience on a daily basis. Things I've been through, I'm going through, I'm thinking about, that I'm sharing with you. And I appreciate people who watch. I appreciate the support. It matters to me. I mean, when I get hopeful thinking about doing YouTube for the connection, for the aspirations of, maybe I can do that, something as a main source of means to provide for myself. Does that encourage me? Yeah, it does. I would be disingenuous to say I don't. I felt in life, most of my career has been doing jobs I don't like to do, but having no other outlet, no other means to support myself. That's what most jobs are for most people. That's why most people, I think, are hopeless. And then once you get a mortgage, once you get kids, and once you get all the trappings, where are you going to go? You ain't going to go anywhere. I remember someone on YouTube that had they made a statement. They said they were working a job and then they just bought a condo in Seattle, Washington. And they came in the next day to work, and she told her boss and her coworkers that, hey, I just bought a house. And her boss said, well, that's great. I am so happy to hear that. And then she said to her boss, well, I'm surprised you're so happy. Why are you so excited? He goes, well, now I have debt equity in you. Now that you have a mortgage, you're not going anywhere. And, I'm not against mortgages. I'm not against houses. If you're living where you want to live, and if your house is below your means, I don't think it's wrong to buy a house. I'm certainly not going to preach everyone should be physically homeless. But what I'm here to tell you is, before you buy a house, make sure you're living where you want to live. And make sure the house is below your means. Even I get tempted at times when I look at home bases to go above my means, or not even above my means. I was at my means. You don't even want to buy a house or rent an apartment or buy a car that's at your means. You want to go below your means. Because a hopeless feeling is a feeling thinking you're never going to get ahead. And I felt that for many years. And it's painful. And, for some people that don't have the ability to play the game of life to work, and, they feel like they'll never get ahead because there's no such thing as, working a $10, $15 an hour. There's no such thing as, having a below your means apartment. It's going to be at your means at the best. So I understand that. But that's why I was sure. Thank you. Linda, Merry Christmas present gift. Thank you. Emoji. Check out Adventure Van Man. I've heard about him. I heard him back in the day. Wasn't him and Nomadic Fanatic beefing? He interviewed a few of us. I'm at the 8-minute mark. Oh, I'll check you out. You're a YouTube star, Linda. I'll check you out. For you, I will. J-Rod, I am in the same boat, but I also have hard assets to maintain, homeless by choice. I have heard a couple people leave comments to say they're landlords and they have hard assets such as rental properties. They rent them out, and that's how they sustain their lifestyle. One of the first people that ever inspired me watching YouTube was a Canadian guy. I don't even remember the name of the channel, but he shut the channel down. He only basically lived in his van for, I think, 3 months. He went from Canada to Florida in the winter, and that was it. And that was the only reason I watched it, was because he went to Florida. But he had rental properties to give him some income. Rental properties are a lot of work, and you're going to have a presence there or a property manager there. And but I'm not against people having that if that works for them. I'm just not type of personality where I want to deal with that. But some people don't have the personality where they want to have a YouTube channel. Everyone has a different gift. Everyone has a different way they want to do life. Some people want to be a real estate mogul. And even if they don't want to be wealthy, they want to be able to have a decent life and rental property. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing, again, everyone's different. It's a blessing, and you are blessed if you can do what you love or do what really inspires you. That's huge. Brew in Vegas. Merry Christmas, brother. Well, Merry Christmas to you also. Thank you. Pack Live. Sam, sunglass face, buddy. Your choice to be homeless. But I think you set yourself up for the upcoming big recession. Buy a land or home base for pennies on a dollar. Thank you, Pack. Yeah, look, I know recently as I make this, it'll all depend when you watch this. If you're not watching the live feed, that stock market, I think, was down like 20%. But it's still, the Dow Jones almost at 22,000. I think when Trump took office, it was like, 16, 17,000? The stock market is still way overinflated. But it could still go higher, way higher. I'm surprised it went as high as it did. And it can go even higher. So I can't tell you where it's going to go. But what I could tell you is capitalism is all a balloon. It's all an illusion. And I can factually prove it. How? Look at the price to earnings ratio of all the companies in the stock market. It's considered standard or good value if companies such as IBM or whatever, doesn't matter what company, has 1 to 12 price to earnings ratio, meaning that they're basically selling stock based on 12 times the company's worth. So, if we were in a truly like, how much is this company worth? The stock market would be like 4,000. Dow Jones would be like 4,000. But it's just capitalism. It's not the free market either, because the free market is controlled by the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is a level of corporation and a level of government playing with interest rates. And every now and again, the system collapses, and it takes the government to backstop it to keep sanity. But back to the objective of, is it wise to buy property? Let me tell you something. If the stock market goes down another 20%, there'll be some properties that come on the market that are cheaper, because right now properties are still at all-time high. And interest rates are going up. So let's say they come a little cheaper. But what can happen is, if the stock market stays down, not for 2, 5, 6 months, but for 2 or 6 years, you know how much pain that is? No, it doesn't. You'll never get a good buy, because you're never going to time the bottom exactly, and you're never going to time the top exactly. You're never going to do it. And there may be one time where it just stays low for a while, or it stays high for a while. There's no guarantees. But what I can tell you, the whole system is way rigged. And the system is not rigged against having a billionaire president. The system is rigged against the middle and lower class. It is. There needs to be a restructure. And buying cheap property is not the answer. Because if property stays cheap for 6 years, can you hold that? When are you going to be able to time it exactly at the bottom? You're not. No one is. No one can tell you. And so, and you can lose your job at any time. I mean, look, the only time you should buy property is if you know you want to live in that area, if you're ready to put down roots, and it's below your means. Even then, there's no guarantees, but that's the best time to buy. Not trying to time the market, because that's speculation. That's how you get hurt. I saw it like when we went to the housing crisis. I remember I had a few people I knew, they bought houses in 2010. And for another 3 years, the price went down. That's a lot of pain. And that's what happens. People buy stocks. People say, stock market always goes up. And everyone right now keeps their money in the stock market. Well, I wouldn't even say that. There was a statistic, I would think, the bottom 50% of 50% of society basically doesn't have any money in stocks. So, and that's the bottom tier, financially speaking. So, there may be about 20, 30% of society that isn't the 1% that has money in a 401k or index fund or something like that. But if they experience enough pain, just like in 2006, they will sell. Even me. If you put anybody through enough pain, if the stock market keeps going down, you will eventually sell, because you'll get to a point mentally where you can't afford to see it go any lower. And the only people that hang on is that people that have a lot more assets and have a lot more net worth outside of the stock market. And there's very few people, very few. So there's nothing wrong with having risk. There's nothing wrong with taking risks. There's nothing wrong with playing the stock market or playing real estate. But you have to understand that everyone's an expert until the shit hits the fan. Then everyone looks at you crazy, because then no one's an expert. You understand what I'm saying? I've seen that happen. And I've seen people who claim to be financial gurus totally destitute. People who claim to be this real estate mogul, totally destitute. That's what happened to Trump. Bankruptcy 6 times. That's what happened to Dave Ramsey. Bankruptcy. If the stock market keeps going down, and Dave Ramsey keeps telling you to buy a stock market, not for 2 months, 6 months, but it could happen for 10 years. What will we say then? Wouldn't be able to say anything. But it may go up. It may keep going up, and it probably will. Odds are. There's no one answer with that. The only answer I figure out in life is what I do as far as financially. That is, work a full-time job, do a side hustle of something you love. That's what I'm doing with YouTube. That's what I've done with other things. Hopefully that breaks, but if it doesn't, you always have to work. So I haven't found a magical investment. I've lost more money in investments than I ever made. I'm not saying you shouldn't invest, though, because there's certain people that make out. And I'm not against risk. But what I'm saying is, be careful when you speculate, and only play with that money that you can afford to lose. And it's painful when you lose money. Painful. um, it can totally crush your hope. And you can end up homeless. I've had people comment on my channel, and I understand it. There's no judgment. I've been there in a certain manner of speaking, where they've got themselves in a financial bind, and to get ahead, they're going to have to live in their car. Whether it's through divorce with child support, whether it's due to they lost their job, whether it's due to risking a little bit of money, gambling, variety of reasons, disability. The only thing I figured out is, like I say, you got to have income coming in, and you got to live simple. And it's very hard, though, to keep your hand out of the pot of too much risk. Very hard. Because risk is exciting. Dating the person with drama is exciting. But ask Jada how dating someone with drama ends up. Ask Pac Live how speculating on stocks ends up. And I can testify the same thing. Doesn't end up good. For the majority of people. For some, once in a while it may, but not most. Jacob, hey Sam, how are you doing tonight? I feel good overall. I feel positive. I feel thankful. This is one of my favorite times of the day at this point in my life. And I'm very thankful for that. Free to be me. Blessed are the poor. I know that's a scripture. I do feel you feel like you're closer to God when you're poor, because you feel like you're hopeless and God is your only hope. That's true. But it's a horrible feeling to be poor. Horrible. And to feel hopeless, to feel like you have no means to take care of yourself. So it's a give and take. James, Sam, you are proof of the slogan, be thankful for you have a roof over your head. Even after downsizing everything, you still have a place to call home. That's true. Look, this is my roof. Like when I see that quote, be thankful to have a roof over your head, I actually throw up a little bit in my mouth. I don't want a house ever again. Maybe a home base with an RV, as far as like a piece of land with an RV on it. I don't want a house. And I think that's a little bit of a lie. But I see people living on the street. You go through West Palm Beach, there's plenty of people living right in the street with no roof. There's plenty of people in the woods, deep woods of Florida. They're living out of a tent. Many of the people who live out of a tent do have a car. But I'm at peace. I mean, look, this car is a blessing. Very thankful for it. And it is a home. I don't need anything else. I don't want anything else at this point in my life. And I mean, it's an odd thing. I never thought I would get to that point in my life. I've never even thought about this, but I'm thankful for it. Chad checking in from disastrous Minnesota. Minnesota's a disaster. That cold weather, man. Good to see you, Chad. Chad, I'm out of here. Chad, love and respect. Chad, love and peace, chicken and grease. I'm not mad at that. Rob, what's that emoji? I don't know what that emoji is. Karen, hey Karen, how are you? Karen, hey Sam. True Christmas Day. Partly cloudy, 74 degrees Fahrenheit, 10%, I believe that's humidity. Karen, love to you. Karen's also from Florida, great woman I met online. Great friend. Hope you're doing well. Hope your health is well. I know Karen's, I don't know if Karen, if you're still in the live chat, if you want to share. I know Karen's got some issues with her lungs. I don't know if it's a lung disease or some type of respiratory issue with her health. And Karen, what is that? If you want to share, what is that issue, and how do you deal with it mentally? Mentally, how do you deal with health challenges in life? I'm curious to know. Yolanda, hey Yolanda, good to see you. Jay Smith gave me the answer of how many people of the population are homeless in America. It's about 1.5 million, which is about a half of 1% of the population. Great comment. And Daddy Geek says, hey little brother, Merry Christmas. And Daddy Geek, you are a blessing to me with that super chat. And I appreciate that. You've done that a few times. And I just, again, the only thing I can say is that I hope you really know that I sincerely appreciate that. And I sincerely hope that, you get many blessings in return in your life in many different ways. Thank you, Daddy Geek. Nicholas, Sammy, what's good, brother? Voila. Yeah, I mean, I feel good, man. In some aspects, I feel real good. I mean, like there was a couple dark moments in the day, like mentally, like every day. Every day, I have dark moments, like in my mind. But I try to make them less than and more light moments, more positive moments. It takes a conscious effort to do that and to fight. That's the whole thing of life. The whole thing of hopelessness and all that whole conversation is the fight. Because to stay hopeful and to stay encouraged, you have to really fight against life. Someone left a comment on some other channel and said that to be positive takes more energy, and because negativity is like the path of least resistance. And I think that's wise. To be negative, there's no resistance. Like, you can be negative like this, and it goes right negativity. To be positive, like, you have to make a conscious effort to push back against the dark thoughts, against the negative mind. Now, I do think you get to a point in your life where you're tired of fighting. I've heard many elderly people say, Sam, I'm just tired of fighting. And I understand that. I mean, even at my age, there's some times where I say, I'm tired of fighting. Again, the only thing I've come up with, if you stay down, this world will keep kicking you. So don't stay down. Let's put one foot in front of the other. Take life one day at a time. Listen to your music. If you have the physical ability, go for a walk. Surround yourself with good people. Try to use your gift and refine your gift. And then you go from there. I mean, most of the time you use your gift, there's not going to be a financial reward. Sometimes there may be. Most of the time there's not. You look at this channel. You look at the different things I've done with my life. Most of the time there's no financial reward. The only financial reward there is on a consistent basis is usually working for someone else. That's the facts. Hopefully you can get lucky. But a business, your side hustle, using your creative gifts to make a way for you, it takes time to build that, and it takes consistency, and there's highs and lows, and there's feast and famine. So the only way to endure that is to have a different, steady, full-time job. And then life's a little bit better. I mean, because part of life, when you feel hopeless, is lack of being able to take care of yourself. That's truth. Jay Smith, no problem, bro. Jay, you came in hot with that statistic. Thank you. James, sexy is 100% sexy. Well, I ain't mad at that. Thank you, Gleno. Greens from Fort Worth, Texas. Gleno, good to see you, brother. You and the Shih Tzus, your dogs down in Texas. I appreciate you, brother, man. You've been a consistent viewer. And I appreciate you. Who should you be around? People who reciprocate the love. Like, I know it's taken me a while to get to the comments. Hopefully you're still in here. But I try to read each and every comment. I try to reply to every comment on my videos. I mean, when I first made videos, no one would comment. And if you ever start a YouTube channel, if you're ever doing, in the first few months, no one's going to comment. No one's going to watch. I'm blessed and I'm thankful. Was there 51 people in here now? 16 people click the thumbs up. Daddy Geek Super Chat. You know how blessed I am to be here a year and a half later? That's encouraging to me. But it also takes some risk to put yourself out there. That's true. If I had a house, I wouldn't be doing this. If I had a lot of obligations, I wouldn't be doing this. I mean, I share, I don't just share like okie doke videos. Like, I share like my soul. I share my life exactly what it is. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, there's always some things in your life that you don't share with everyone. I mean, I'm sure there's a few things in my life that I don't share. That's just, part of human nature. But for the most part, I mean, I'm sharing my soul here. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, there's no like gimmick. There's people in here that have joined, like, that know me in real life. And, like I said, I think if you ever get lost in life, be yourself. If you ever start to stutter on a job interview, be yourself. If you ever don't know the right word to say, just be yourself. I think if you make a conscious effort to not manipulate yourself, not to manipulate others, and to speak directly to what you feel is the truth and the right path to go, there's no guarantee like it's going to work out, but at least you're on the right path and you don't lose yourself. And it's a blessing if, that attract others, but that's the course you got to steer. Tara, 25%, she says, of homeless population is living in their vehicles. That's an interesting statistic. Homelessness is up 46% as of August 2018. That's a very interesting statistic. So a quarter or 25% of people who are considered homeless are living in their cars. That's interesting. Well, here, let's break it down. So if 1.5 million people are homeless, what's 25% of 1.5 million? Well, 25% of a million is what? 250,000. So add another 125 to that. You have 375,000 people are living in their cars full time. Tara, now these numbers probably not exact, but they're probably pretty damn close. Thank you, Tara. That's a great statistic. So out of the 325 million people that live in the United States of America, 375,000 live in their cars. That's less than 0.5%. That's probably 0.25% of the population. So they go unnoticed. They live in the shadows. Even the homeless, 0.5. But again, that's part of it. But the other part of it, there's a lot of people that have houses, that have apartments, that are hopeless. And they're living paycheck to paycheck. Statistics say that 70% of society lives paycheck to paycheck. 70%. That's hopeless. You feel like you're drowning. I've been there. And in a little way, living a very simple life is empowering. Not just because it allows you to use your creative gifts, but because you can be yourself more. And, you can have a little bit more humor. It's just a little bit more enriching. I still have dark moments, but it's less. And I feel more encouraged. When I really get in a bad space, what I say to myself to encourage myself, because you got to encourage yourself. There's a scripture that basically teaches us that. Is I say, Sam, look, as bad as it is, you don't have a lot to take care of. And if the shit really hits the fan, you just, you're living a simple life. What are they going to take from you at this point? I mean, they could take your health, God forbid. I mean, they could, you could get persecuted. But at the end of the day, I mean, look, I got one bag. I got one car. That's about it. And once in a while, when I look at buying property or something, I say that to myself. I mean, it's like, one sense it would be nice to get into a routine again. The other sense, I feel the pressure of, the other thing I wrote, I think on the Instagram today was, I said, don't hold on to anything too tight. And the minute I think of buying a home base, I think if I lose my job and if something really bad happens, I just think that having a house, it's like something else that people could take away from you. And I realized in this world that everything is temporary. Everything is fading. Having a relationship, it's temporary. Someone can take that away from you. That person can get sick. That person could want to leave you. Having a pet's going to die before you. Now, but am I against those things? No, I'm not against them. And I'm blessed to have lived through them, to experience them. I don't want to take that experience from someone else. But what I'm here for me, less to hold on to and less to worry about someone can take from me, the better I am. The more I'm able to fight this world. Because you have to fight this world till you're not in this world. I think that's the truth. There's some beautiful things in this world. I never want to give you a bad, negative view of the world, but there's a lot of crap. But you can make your life better. Here's the hope. Through a series of decisions and through the grace of God, I've made my life better. I still have dark moments throughout the day, but I'm living where I want to live. I'm blessed to have a remote position. I'm blessed to be able to do YouTube. I'm blessed to be able to lose 200 pounds. I'm blessed to only have healthy relationships, even if they're just all virtual. I'm blessed. In many aspects, I'm living a big part of what I want to do for my life. And you can, through a series of decisions, through hard work, through doing things you don't want to do, and through the grace of God, through being consistent, through showing up. But I know how hard it's been for me. I know how hard it was to lose 200 pounds. I know how hard it is to show up every day at work. I know how hard it is to put yourself out there on YouTube, and many times you don't get anything for it other than ridicule. There's a huge, God has just blessed me with a level of mental tenacity, but I could still be broken because I've been broken before. But I say to myself, when I'm fighting the world and I'm going into like ultimate warrior status and I'm having that mental tenacity to show up every day to do the work of my life, I realize at the moments I'm fighting back, how many other people don't have the mental capacity to fight back at the level I fight back at. Because I know how much I'm fighting throughout the course of the day, throughout the course of these years to go forward in life. And I realize how hard it is. And I understand, like, I look back and I say, you know what? I understand why people give up. Because like I could feel at the times like, damn, this shit is so hard. And you are never going to be a leader if you don't have empathy. I don't care if the stock market, if the Dow Jones would go up to 100,000. If you don't have, you don't want to be someone who's never firm. You have to be firm. But if you have no empathy, you have lost your soul. And for me, you have lost leadership ability. If you think just because you're mentally strong and because you know how to win, if you think your job of winning is to leave people behind, to leave a society behind, to leave all the hopeless behind, you're a fucking failure. That's how I look at it. And you're not a leader, you're a disgrace. And I see that. And that's why I really feel like, society took a wrong turn. But in many aspects, society is still better than previous times in history. So I want to balance my thought. But those are my thoughts. Papa X. Blessings, brother. It should be all year helping, donating time, food, and clothes. Yeah, I mean, and I think I want us to get to a point where we do a universal basic income, because a lot of those charities don't need to be around if we're able to give people the means to provide for themselves. Because I know people who are in the system, okay? Whether it's through homeless shelters, whether it's through disability checks, whether it's through food stamps. I know people in the system, and I know what the system is. It's not the way. It's good that we have a system to help people, but what I'm here to tell you is the system we have in place to give people dignity is not dignity. And $10 an hour is not dignity either. I'm sorry to say that. And so we got to do a little bit better than toy drives at Christmas, in my opinion. But like I said, look, I did it for many years. I did it myself. I did it when I had a nonprofit. I did it when I did some youth ministry. I took the kids a couple times to those programs because a lot of those kids never been around poverty. And I took them to the projects in the middle of the night doing like soup work. It was in like a protected type of like food truck that we took around the projects and stuff. But, what I could tell you is there's a whole world. There's different worlds within America. Okay, and it doesn't have to be the projects in the city. It could be in the middle of a country land in a meth-riddled town. Okay, or look, it could be in a luxury community where people are taking Adderall, or popping pills to sleep at night. I mean, money's a buffer. Money is a buffer. So a lot of times when people have money, you don't see the hopelessness, and they don't have an extreme hopelessness because they know they got some money. But all I'm trying to say is that definitely at different times in your life, you got to get involved to understand. You got to get involved with people less fortunate than yourself. Then you're going to get to a point, which I did, that you realize that you can't save everyone. There's no magical answer. And some people want to live a certain life, even if it's a totally destitute life. They don't want your help. Like, and if you help them, sometimes like when I go to give money to somebody on the street, it just, I remember giving money to someone one time and said, look, they said to me, you're embarrassing me. It's like, it's a tough way for society to operate in the richest country in the world, the wealthiest country in the world, where we do print money. Literally, we print money and we subsidize corporations such as the gas companies and everything else. Those are just my thoughts. I mean, again, I'm sure people have their own thoughts, but I'm not one of those people that subscribe. You don't feed a starving cat because then he's going to come back for more food. All right, well, let's not feed the gas companies then. Let's not feed the corporations. Let's see how they don't do with their corporate welfare. And I know people who have said that and they're on Social Security. I know people who have said that and they're on Social Security. Now, Social Security, though, is a program that you pay into. But they've played the system too. They've played the system too. They know it. But look, all I'm saying is, like, it doesn't, are charities the answer? I don't think so. I think they play a part. Um, I think housing is out of control in this country. I do. They don't build like quaint little houses anymore. Like sometimes, like when I'm in an older community and there's quaint little ranch houses, I say, well, again, in the 60s and 70s, we had a vibrant middle class. We had pensions, we had annuities, and there was affordable housing. The middle class has statistically shrunken under Democrat and Republican over the course of 20, 30 years. And there's not affordable housing out there. Even renting, I mean, it really is a disaster. But I'm here to tell you, look, you can be homeless and you can still be happy. I mean, I live in my car. I've never been happier. So I don't want to start to get too gloom. Well, there was a season of my life where I enjoyed having a house, a condo. But I tell you, I have more mental peace living in my car than ever before. Somebody left a comment on my video this morning when I did waking up in my car, and they said, Sam, I can't believe you get 6 to 8 hours for sleep per night. That's amazing. And I thought about that. I said, it is true. It is amazing, because there was times when I had my house, I didn't get that good of sleep. I had to wake up and, so, there's a level of peace in less mental anxieties. There's less mental anxieties with less stuff. I truly believe that. Again, I know I'm on an extreme end, but less stuff, less is more. I'm Data Geek again. You're never alone because you have a big sis here in Arkansas. Go out and do something nice for yourself. I'm always with you. Love to you, man. Arkansas, love and respect to you, Data Geek. Thank you. Tony, Merry Christmas, Sam. Just checking in, getting ready for a gig. Tony, what's a gig for you? What do you do, music? Do you use your creative gift of music? My mom did music. That was my mom's passion in life, was music. My parents got divorced. My mom worked a night shift at ShopRite, and she substitute, teach, and she did different things she could do during the day. But what she really enjoyed doing in life was singing on the weekends at church. Wasn't enough to pay the bills. But it was using her gift and a little bit of a side hustle, because she did get some money for funerals and weddings when she sung at them, and even the masses. But again, I think there's a lesson there, and there's a lesson here, what I'm trying to share with YouTube and everything else. She had to use her gift to feel alive, but her gift wasn't enough to pay the bills, so she also worked a full-time job. I mean, part of my work ethic, I give a lot of credit to my mom, watching my mom work hard, worked her whole life. Even up to this year, 70 years old, worked at a supermarket. And I remember being very young, helping my mom bag groceries at ShopRite, which is a supermarket. And I don't know. I mean, I'm very thankful that, again, I've been able to see I've seen basic level of jobs and poverty, and I've also seen great wealth. And it's hard to explain. I'm trying to articulate it, but I've just seen such a wide range of society that it's almost unreal. It's almost like an out-of-body experience to see the different aspects of society and different mindsets. Have I felt more love in lower economic communities and lower economic? In one sense, I would say I guess I have. I mean, certainly the times I spent with the wealthy, I mean, it just felt like more of the game. But there's no disrespect. I mean, I know some people that make a good living and that have a little bit of money, have a lot of money, and they're not assholes. But also, I mean, I'll be honest with you, a lot of them aren't rocket science either. I mean, and so, But I, especially in my youth, I mean, I spent most of my time around middle and lower class communities, and I always felt loved. I always felt looked after. I remember there was a couple times being in bad neighborhoods, um, and a lot of people looked out for me. It could have easily went the other way, and I'll never forget that. You understand what I'm saying? And and I don't know. I mean, just spending time in that environment, it sticks with you your whole life. And even if you progressively move up, and even some people, I was able to get opportunities to help them move up. Some people took it, some people really didn't. But I still, even the people that didn't take it, I still have something in my spirit that always says, you got to figure out something to remember, those who are caught in that hopeless feeling. I still have that in my soul, heavy. And that's what I remember, like, when I was doing church, I tried to take the kids that were brought up in mainly a middle class neighborhood, which, I was brought up in a middle class neighborhood, but I spent most of my time in lower class neighborhoods as far as financially. I remember I was trying to teach, at one point when I was doing like youth leadership, I was trying to take kids to have them experience what I've experienced, but you can never experience that volunteering in a soup kitchen. And I wouldn't even say that I would recommend people experiencing everything I experienced. And people experience worse than me, so I'm not trying to say it. But there are certain things that I've seen that stick with me for a lifetime. I remember being in the Bronx, my sister doing dope, falling asleep, and just being in the middle of the projects. But I also remember people looking out after me, making sure like nothing happened. Just some, but I don't say that to blame my sister or to blame anybody. But what I'm here to tell you is, I just spent enough time in different scenarios, whether it's in poor neighborhoods, whether with crime, whether it was with drugs, whether it was whatever it was with, that there's something that's left on your soul that you feel, that you just always feel like there's something you have to do to make life a little bit better for those who are hopeless. But you can't buy the way out of hopelessness. Money's a part of it. And money's a part of the equation of hopelessness, but there's also something there, that you just can never forget the people, no matter what their financial standing, middle class, upper class, lower class, that they are hopeless, that they're caught in their mind. Now, the sad part is, when I get pissed, is when you may get to a point in your life where you try to overhelp them, and they play games with you. They take advantage of your kindness. They take advantage of your empathy, and then you get totally cold-hearted towards life, and you say, fuck everyone. And I've been there, and I still get there. I mean, I guess now where I'm kind of not at that point is because I really don't. If people play games, I just don't spend time with them, because I still have love for them. I can't waste my energy on that, because it leads nowhere. I spent years, trying to, encourage people that they're not interested in it. They're in their own game. Maybe they're not even playing a game, but they can't receive help. They're not in that point. So everyone has to be ready to receive. But the sad part is it takes time for people to figure it out for themselves. And while they're figuring it out, a lot of people may leave them because they realize, like, look, I can't help this person. And so I still think about them. I still, even though I know I can't help them, I still think about it. I still care. But then again, I mean, I pull myself back from all that sadness, is that, what, you can only focus on improving yourself and just remembering that pain that I just tried to articulate. And, that's it. And that will be part of, you'll be presented with opportunities to make society a little bit better in your own way. And that's all you can do. And so I try to, share a little bit of my journey. James, Merry Christmas. I hope you're having a good day. Yeah, I think I wrote, thank you. Chad, hopeless for me is living paycheck to paycheck. Thank you for sharing 70% of society, and I was once part of that. But I did some math, and if I cut rent and utilities, I can pay off student loan debt in a year or so. Thank you for sharing. Student loan debt is a complete tragedy. I think the average student loan debt is about $25,000. You know how long it takes to get out of debt for $25,000? Especially if you're making 12, 20, even if you're making $20 an hour, it takes a long time. And even if you do all the calculations and you could pay that off in 2-3 years, it's a lot of pain. But I've been there, I understand. All I can tell you is everything you want to do in life, start now. Because time keeps ticking, so if you start now, at least you start. And then you try to enjoy each day as you go forward in your journey. So if you cut your rent, and if you're going to live out of your car, if you cut utilities, and you're going to be homeless, you got to understand, just like I try to share with you guys many times on this channel, there's cost involved with living in your car. There's gas, there's car maintenance. You have to figure out where you're going to spend your night. Are you going to go to campgrounds? There's some free ones, but a lot of them are in the middle of nowhere. You're going to go to a rest stop, to truck stop, to Walmart. That's a lot of movement. You can do it. I've done it. What I'm trying to tell you is it's taxing. It takes a lot of adaptation. You're never settled. You can do it. You can do it. But what I'm here to tell you is just be mindful. For many people, I believe maybe just getting a cheap apartment is the best solution. I don't think one person needs more than 250 square feet. I don't. And you may be better off living in a cheap apartment and commuting an hour and a half to work. Because many times, if you're working in a suburb or in a city, if you go to the outskirts of a suburb into the country land, you can rent an apartment for cheaper, even if you have to commute longer. And maybe you'd be better off doing that. At least you have a fixed location to go back to. For some people, I would look at that option. I would look at all options. And then you make the best decision for your life and you try to do the best. Apathy. Wow, Daddy Geek, very nice. It was very nice, very generous. Daddy Geek, thank you again. Dad, I'm out. Jacob, I fully agree with you, Sam. Well, thank you. Guys, hydration break. Love and respect. Chat by apathy. Chat. Old people keep telling me to do it now before I get old. So the way I see it, I got to pay the bills. It is not a valid excuse anymore. So I'm out. Start now. Start now, because time keeps ticking, and a year from now, it's going to be a year later. You don't do anything in life by putting it off. You got to just start, and then you just go forward. Apathy. Took me 20 years to pay off my student loans. It was only $15,000. 20 years to pay off $15,000. But the interest was never ending. Thank God I paid it off. Amen, Apathy. Thank you for sharing. Daddy Geek, love you, Sammy. Thank you, Daddy Geek. Daddy Geek, you have helped me so much. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate a lot of people, any people who have told me that. Thank you. And, what I've learned in life also, there's been times where I never really struggled with confidence, even though I have been insecure, even though I have been made fun of at times in my life. I know one of my sisters always struggled with confidence. And one thing I do hope to always do is empower people who are insecure or feel like they're picked on, or just don't feel confident in themselves. What I want you to remember is, look, never waste a moment of your life for someone who makes you feel insecure. Never. Only be around people who respect you, who think you're beautiful inside, outside, whatever, and who don't manipulate you. Number one piece of advice I ever got in my life was don't let anyone control you. And when you're insecure, people will control you. That's the truth. And so thank you, Daddy Geek. Love and respect. Pack Life. Unhappiness is a mindset of social, society, economy, status, because we as people compare to how other people live on social media or TV life. Sam, you, me, or YouTube subs cannot even lose hope. Thank you, Pac. Yeah, I mean, look, part of it is comparison is the thief of joy. So certainly when you compare your life to other people, you can get hopeless, you can get agitated, but there is a level of basic means to support yourself that you need, that even if you don't compare yourself to anyone, you want to be able to feed yourself without worrying. You know what I'm saying? You want to be able to, not just feed yourself. You don't want to just survive. You want to live a little bit, right? You want to thrive a little bit. You don't want to get to a point in life where you're just eating food to be alive, or you're just, you want to have some fun. You want to have some inspiration. Life without inspiration, you want to fucking blow your brains out. That's the truth. That's the truth. And it's very hard to keep yourself inspired. Very hard. Why do you think there was a whole part in the scriptures to talk about keep yourself inspired? Because most people, they think about like, fuck, this world's shit. It's a battle. It's a battle. But I definitely agree with where you're going with it. Don't compare yourself to anyone. Don't compare your lips to Kylie Jenner. She got plastic surgery. And, she made billions off selling insecure women makeup. I'm not mad at her. But, just, don't compare yourself to anyone, man. If you're a guy, don't compare yourself to Wesley Pipes, on a porn star. Don't compare yourself to anyone, man. Comparison is the thief of joy. There's no doubt about that. I was watching an episode of Wesley Pipes on Vlad TV. It's crazy. Wesley Pipes, porn star actor guy. Not Wesley Snipes, Wesley Pipes. Apathy. If I had it, I'd send you some cash because you have inspired me to get out of my bad situation. Well, I appreciate that, but if you don't have it, don't send it. And I don't want to manipulate people into, if you're doing bad, to make my life better. All right, that's not what this is about. I will love you. YouTube, the revenue you get off the commercials, is not enough to sustain yourself unless you're a big channel. The super chats are like fan funding. They're like, a fan fund. They help sustain a level of growth, but it's feast or famine. But what I'm here to tell you is, all the videos are free, and if you're hurting, take care of yourself. Okay. Take care of yourself. And I know through the comments and through the love and through the support that you appreciate that. And I know Data Geek, even if she didn't do that, I know she appreciates that because we've had conversations. So, I mean, you don't need to, exchange money to show your appreciation. I can tell and I can feel when people appreciate me. And I can feel when people don't appreciate me. And I walked away from my father. I could have got a $200,000 probably inheritance plus from my father. I walked away from that money. Why? Because I like he appreciated me, loved me, but it was a psychological game where I felt like I couldn't be myself. I've walked away from money in my life because it robbed me of my peace. And money is great. And I never lie to you guys. I'm very direct. But I'm very clear. I have walked away from money because it's not worth giving your soul for. It's not. It's not worth your peace. You need money. I'm trying to balance it for you so you know I'm not being disingenuous. But what I'm here to tell you is there comes a point in every relationship where nothing is worth your peace. Nothing. But I think about my mom. I think about a lot of people that are caught in relationships where they may not have any money. And it's very hard to walk away from the situation knowing that they don't know how they're going to get money to feed themselves. I understand that. I mean, that's why I preach a universal basic income. But what I know is life ain't worth living when you got to play games with somebody. It ain't. That I can lie to you. I can cut it anyway. All I can tell you is play the game, but get a job, do something, get yourself some money, get the hell out of there. Play the game if you have to, as long as you're not getting hurt. But make your money, go work, stack on the side, and get the hell out of any relationship, any environment that is detrimental to your mental and overall well-being. Get the hell out of here. Bottom line. Good job, Jay Smith. Some dude smoking off to your left. Oh, really? Was some guy? Well, I'm in the streets, guys. This ain't like, there's people behind me. Last night there was cops pull somebody over. That's what it is. Daddy Geek. I do know I only do that for you because you give all the time. And I too am very private, but you are giving. And I wanted you to know how much I appreciate you. Well, Daddy Geek, I appreciate that. And even if you didn't give that, I still feel your appreciation, and don't feel that you have to give under pressure, or don't feel. I appreciate you. I thank you for the extra. I appreciate that. Thank you. Apathy, love that. That again. And they should give blow kiss emojis. Thank you. And the heart emoji. Thank you. I appreciate that. Apathy, you give me hope, Sam, that I can get out. You deserve many blessings in your future. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. There's been a couple times in my life, more than a couple, that people have told me I've given them hope. And sometimes, like, I'm sitting in my dark moment, because I still have my own dark moments. I said, damn, I can't believe, but I know, like, God's touched my life. I know I'm not perfect. I know I let people down. So I have an honest evaluation of myself. But using my gift, when I get feedback like that, that feeds my fire. And when I'm dark and when I'm walking and I listen to my music, I think about all the people who've told me, like, Sam, you give me hope, and I know I can make a difference, and that keeps me going. That's my fire. And my prayer for you is that too, that I help encourage you to tap into whatever your fire is. Whether it's to paint art, whether it's to do YouTube, whether it's to be a CEO, whatever the hell inspires you, but that you do it in a way that you don't lose yourself, and that you do it in a genuine, direct, unmanipulative way. That's what I was saying. Yolanda, beautiful, Solomon. Karen, amen to waking up, encouraging yourself. Don't smile just for others. Smile for yourself. Amen, Karen. You get it. Karen gets life. That's why I'm very thankful for Karen in my life. That's why I've kept her in my life. You get to a certain point in life where you don't want to keep people that don't get you and you don't get them. It's not worth it. But somebody smiled at me today, and I thought about that. I said, they're smiling at me, and I appreciate that. That's a blessing. I said, I wonder if they're really happy inside, though. I don't know. But I do know a lot of people that do smile on the outside. They're struggling inside. Everyone's struggling on the inside. Just remember that. Don't get too sad, but just keep yourself inspired. Good job, Ron. Hey, Merry Christmas, Sam. Most of my family have zero respect for me. I understand. So I personally cannot be a phony person, so I will not be bothered with them. Well, I understand that. I've been on both sides of that coin, like I've just shared with you earlier on in this chat room. So even if they're family members, if they're not healthy for your well-being, what I would say, get the hell out of there. That's what I've done in my life. You do whatever you want, but I understand what you're saying, Ron. Gardner Brown, what will you do tomorrow? I am worried for you. Oh, don't be worried for me. I will pray for you. Well, I appreciate the prayers. I'll take them. But I'll wake up. I'll go to the gym. I think Planet Fitness is still open. I'll have my Starbucks. I'll go for a walk on the beach. I'll listen to my music. I'll go for a walk. I'll have a vegetarian sub at Wawa, because Publix will be closed tomorrow. Wawa is your best friend if you live in your car and you're on the road and you're homeless. Wawa is the place that's open. Now, again, I do know people in Florida, so I don't want to play like any victim here. I know people that if I wanted to, I can go to their house. I don't want to. And it's not because I don't love them. I just like to be alone. Hard to explain, but I'm explaining it. But that's what I'll do. And I'll probably make a video, and then I'll go live at night, and then I'll go to sleep, and then I got work on Wednesday. But I'll do some traveling. There's some campgrounds I want to look at. I found a free campground. I want to take a look at that. It's a little bit in the middle of the woods, but I want to take a look at that. It's free up to like 8 nights or something like that. So I have become more of an outdoorsy guy over the past years. I mean, I started to be more outdoors when I got my health together. And then, obviously, when I started living out my car, it forces you to be more outdoors. That's what I wanted. I didn't want to be indoors. Being indoors started to become like a prison for me. And I love being outdoors. I love being in nature. I found a deep level of appreciation for nature. And that's also why I love Florida, because Florida has a high culture of being in nature and campgrounds and respecting the wildlife. And I love that. I was walking in the woods earlier today, or when I was walking on the beach, but it stands out in my mind when I was walking in the woods and I heard the birds chirping and like things rustling in the wood, like brushes and stuff, like, it's like lizards crawling and stuff. It just inspired me to hear nature. Solitude encourages me. But then I also spend time in cities. So, it's give and take. Thank you, though. Murdad, heart emoji. Thank you, Murdad. Live and let live. Hey, Murdad and live and let live says, hello, Sam and all. I wish you a very blessed Christmas. Well, live and let live. I wish the same back to you. The love is reciprocated. And I hope you have a good Christmas. I hope you're experiencing love and respect from all those who surround you. If you're not experiencing love and respect from those that are around you, get the hell out of there. I love you. John made it. Hey, John. Good evening, Sam. Thumbs up. Thank you for the support. Thank you. I appreciate everyone who thumbs up the video. Thank you, John. It's been good to have you as a viewer. I appreciate your comments. And it's been good to have you along the journey, man. Gleno, Merry Christmas, Sam. And the following Santa Claus emoji, Christmas tree emoji, gift emoji, and palm tree emoji. I was walking around some palm trees today. Very encouraging. Just to see the palm trees is encouraging. Luke, love to you, my brother. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you also, Luke, who likes to buy at thrift stores and then flip it on eBay. Good to see you, brother. Tiana Marie, it's wise to keep believing in possibilities. We have to focus on what could be and what may come. A good comment, Tiana Marie. Good to see you. The only thing that comes to mind is you get to a certain point in life where you don't have hope that anything will come again. You've been through enough failure. You've been through enough pain, and you're done. You're done with life. Like, when you get to a relationship, you say, I'm done with this shit. You're done with it. And you also get to a point in life where you feel like that, well, that's true. So how do you handle that? You put one foot in front of the other and you keep going, because you can't lay down. Life will keep kicking you. That's the truth. And then I do think, though, here's the hope. I do think you're going to find days and moments that you feel inspired again. Now, you're still going to feel the dark moments too, though. But you have to separate yourself from that which is hurting you. You can't heal while you're doing self-inflicted wounds. Now, that's the hard part about life, that no matter what we do in society, there's always going to be a part of your pain that comes from self-inflicted wounds. And I do that to myself sometimes. And that's the worst type of pain. Self-inflicted pain is the worst type of pain, because you realize that even if you want to blame someone else, you can't. It's tough. And then you start to talk bad to yourself. And I've done that. That's tough too. When you know you're the source of your pain, that's the worst pain. Like, if it's your lover, or if it's the president, or if it's easy, then it's something. But if it's yourself, then you really get pissed. And what I'm here to tell you, in life, a level of your pain is always going to be a little bit self-inflicted. You're going to have to learn to step away from that. It's not easy. Not easy. Nobody. Eskimos don't have a house. Well, that's interesting. Well, I don't want to be an Eskimo. I want to be a Floridian. Some Floridians don't have a house like me. John, I believe that by next year, this time, we'll be congratulating your 50K or more subs. Well, brother, from your lips to God's ears, and I would say, praise the Lord. I wouldn't be mad at that. Thank you for the, I appreciate that prophecy. Thank you, John. Yolanda, here we go. A ripple effect you've caused along with your friend who moved to Arizona. I've too made the decision to go where the sun is plentiful. Yes. This could very well be my last winter here preparing. Well, look, I totally believe, in my opinion, you'll have to figure out your life for yourself. I totally believe that uprooting your life and moving to an environment that's more sunny and warmer weather is worth it. Try to, you got to secure a job, got to secure some type of income, or you got to plan out a level of savings. But it's worth it for me, in my opinion. And I would say it's worth leaving some people behind as far as family member. If you wait till all your family members die, if you wait till everyone, you're never going to do anything in life. Now, I'm not trying to say you should leave people destitute. I didn't leave anyone destitute. What I'm here to tell you is, you know what I'm saying. Go forward. Data Geek. Gotta take care of mom. Have a blessed holiday to all. I mean, that's what I mean, Data Geek. Love and respect. I know you're taking care of your mom. And I just know you have a heart of gold. And I just hope that you get a lot of blessings in return, Data Geek. Thank you. And peace to your mom. Yolanda. Thank you, Sam. John. I see you monetizing already. Good job. Well, yeah, look. I've had my YouTube channel since July of 2007. It's December of 2018. July of 2017. About a year and a half I've had my YouTube channel as I make this. And for the first 9 months, I made $0. And even now, it's not enough to live off of. It's ups and downs. I still have a full-time job, or else I'd be destitute. So what I'm here to tell you is, if you go into anything in life, you have to learn that that's the reality of anything. It takes time to build, and having your business, anything that involves money is going to be ups and downs, feast or famine. And you have to understand that. And you have to be consistent. And you're going to get embarrassed, and you're going to get ridiculed. And it's going to not be worth it many times. And you still got to show up. I want you to video search Inspirational Nomad Discouraged on YouTube. One of my first few videos was no one was watching my videos. I felt like it was hopeless. And I said, I know the answer is hard work and being consistent, but I'm impatient. But I'm going to still do it. And that's what it is. And you got to get a little lucky. You got to get the grace of God. I never discount that. I never discount the luck and the grace of God. Because I know a lot of people that you could work hard, you could be consistent. That's the part of it, though. You got to have faith. Faith without works is dead. You got to have the works. You also got to have some luck go your way, some grace of God. Glenn O. Take care, Daddy Geek. Queen, hello. How are you doing? Go, Queen. Love emoji to you. Queen, I'm fine. Traveling Van, howdy. Traveling Van's in the house. Good to see you, Traveling Van. Queen, Merry Christmas. Vanomatic. Merry Van Mix. I'm not mad at that. Happy Festivus. What is Festivus? It's a magical episode of Seinfeld where George's father had the airing out of the grievances. So George's father basically blacked out on, and he told everyone why he's mad at them. One of my favorite episodes. Ilana, it's super bad in Britain and getting worse. It's unbelievably possible. Queen. How is your night going? Overall positive. I'm very thankful. How's yours, Queen? I feel like that too sometimes, like you do. Thank you, Queen. Queen, I believe that everyone does sometime or another. Hopelessness, I totally agree. Gleno, Steve Harvey lived in his car for 3 years because of his child support before he turned famous. Well, thank you for the comment. I don't even know if I knew that. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you. Queen, yes, great topic. You have some great topics. Thank you. That you speak of. This is my real life. Everything I share with you is my real life. Thank you. And I loved him. I want to say thank you. And I want to say thank you back. The love is reciprocated. Thank you. Karen. Karen sharing, thank you, Karen. Thank you. Karen says, she's talking about her health issues. Genetic lung disease, slowly dying, attitude and filling my mind full of good thoughts, doing what I can to maintain what I've left. Karen, thank you for sharing heart emoji too. Karen has lung disease, And she says slowly dying, but trying to keep her mind hopeful. And I follow her on social media. She's very inspiring, very hopeful, very positive, a blessing of a woman. We are all terminally ill, all of us. Everyone right now watching this is terminally ill. We are all going to die in this world. So obviously there's some that are experiencing it right now and some that may, but we all have a time that's dwindling in this world. Make the most of your life. Surround yourself with good people and use your gift and live simply. But Karen, I love you. And I remember when I was looking in Florida a few years ago, and I met Karen online in like a chat room. And I remember her, God bless her heart, she took pictures of different houses for me that I asked her to. And she gave me a lot of information about Florida and the different neighborhoods I was looking at. And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget her kindness towards me. And I know that God looks after her. I do. I feel it. And I appreciate you, Karen. Thank you. Live and let live. Oh, thank you, Live and let live. I appreciate that. Enough a cup or two pie coffee. Enough for a cup or two of pie coffee. Sunglass face emoji. You are greatly appreciated in my thoughts and prayers. Live and let live. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Very sweet of you. Merry Christmas to you. I hope Santa leaves you something good in your stocking as well. And I appreciate that. Starbucks, I will drink a Starbucks in your thoughts of you, and I appreciate that. People are kind to you. All I can tell you is this: store up when people are kind to you. Because even now, like I'm making a mental note that Sam, you better remember when all these people were nice to you. You better remember this, because tomorrow you're going to have dark thoughts, the day after, and there may be 2 weeks where you go where people aren't kind to you. When people are kind to you, you almost have to be like a squirrel, and you have to take those acorns. And I feed the squirrel at the park, I feed him peanuts. And sometimes when I feed the squirrel peanuts, he's full, but he takes those peanuts and he buries them for a day when he's not going to find any. And you have to be like that when it comes to people who encourage you, when people who are kind to you, and people who bless you. You have to take those peanuts, whatever they are to you, and you have to store them away in a place that you can pull from them and encourage yourself. Because there's going to be dark days. There's going to be dark times. Never forget how kind people were to you in life, even when because people are going to be nasty to you. Thank you. Thank you, Live and Let Live. Thank you, Daddy Geek. Thank you, everyone. Tony, what's up, Sam? Merry Christmas to you, sir. Same to you, man. It's reciprocated. Thank you, brother. Rick, have a great Christmas, just like you do every day. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Rick. Sean Murphy Journal. Listen, brother, having money on Christmas is good. Having no money is bad. Totally agree. Anytime in life, doesn't matter if it's Christmas or not. Money is a part of being able to know that you're going to be able to take care of yourself. You're going to be able to put gas in your car. You're going to be able to feed yourself. That's all part of life. I totally agree with that. Queen, I've lived in shelters. Thank you for sharing, Queen. I've lived in shelters and group homes. Group homes are tough. And I did not like it at all. I totally understand that. I've never lived in a group home, never experienced that, but I know a couple people that did and scarred them for life. I can't say all, but a couple people I know. But definitely homeless shelters. I know a couple people that told me when I was working it, and they said, Sam, I'd rather fucking be on the street. And they did. They ended up going on the street. Now, I'm on the street sometimes, and I see these people. And I understand why they'd rather be on. Because they have their own freedom. And they still may go to soup kitchens or different places, food pantries to get food, but they rather live on the street. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to, in some cases, you are better off living in the street than in a homeless shelter. In some cases, in my opinion. I look, in my opinion, if you have a car and you have a driver's license, you're definitely better, in my opinion. Unless you have like a lot of kids or something like that, you're better off living in your car. And that's what I do. So I'm speaking from my opinion and my experience. Now, uh, now obviously too, it's harder when you're up north. Now I lived in New Jersey for 2 years in my car, and the winters were brutal. So I can understand, like I said, there may be certain times we got to stay in a hotel, or maybe there's certain times you got to go in a shelter. But I did it. Now I'm young and I'm in shape, and I have a level of mental tenacity. But last winter, I got very sick for like 2 weeks. And I remember I didn't make a video for like 2 weeks, and people said, "Sam, are you okay?" Because I got very sick. I couldn't, I got almost like walking pneumonia. Even people at the job, like that was the first time like I called in sick in like years. And I was like sick for like 2 months. So cold weather climates, it's a challenge. Now, to be honest though, I got sick not from living in my car necessarily. That's part, but mainly because I went from inside a building to outside without wearing a scarf and jacket. See, that's the problem with living up north in cold environments. You take for granted that I'm just going to run right into the store. I'm just going to go from this office building to the other office building. I'm going to go from my car to Starbucks. And you don't put on your scarf, your hat. You think like that 2-minute run to the store doesn't matter, but that matters. And that starts the infection and starts the cough and the congestion, and the cold air gets in your lungs. And then obviously living in your car, your immune system may be a little bit weaker. And then that's how it snowballs. What I can tell you is when you go from your car to the store, from one building to another building, wear your scarf, wear your jacket, and wear your hat. See, it takes effort to do that. And I don't like that. That's why I like living in Florida. I like, I don't have to put on extra clothes to go to the store. But that's where I got sick. Make a mental note. Thank you, Queen, for sharing. The Sean Murphy Journal. I lived 6 weeks in a shelter, including Christmas Day, 1992. Thank you for sharing that, Sean. What did you think about it, and what would be your perspective on that? I'm a traveling man. A lot older, retired folks living in their vehicles. I've seen that. I see that. Some by choice, but mostly by necessity. I see that too. Thank you, brother. Traveling man's living full-time in his minivan in Florida too. He sees what I see. I'm in the streets every night. Sometimes in campgrounds, sometimes in truck stops. And I see exactly what you're saying. But I also see some people living a good, happy life, living simply. I saw people, when I went and checked out a free campground, I saw people camping there. They were living, a couple of them living in their tents. They had a car, and they were pretty happy. They were cooking a little bit on the stove. So, it can be done. Apathy sucks. Apathy sucks, man. Thank you for the support. I appreciate that. Apathy. Thank you for hanging in there. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you. Thank you for your kindness. I'll store it up and I'll appreciate it. And I'll sincerely tell you I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. OC, I'm 15. The stuff I'm learning in school, I feel like I won't need in the future. Well, I feel that. I barely passed high school, even though I could have done better. But I got frustrated with high school. The classrooms are too long. It's a bunch of nonsense. And you are 100% right. 90% of the stuff I learned in high school and in trade school and in a little bit of engineering that I took, what I could tell you is you're not going to use. Most of it you won't. Some of it you will. Most of it you won't. What you have to realize, brother, is that life is a game. And I would be disingenuous and misleading if I tell you that life isn't a game. And if it wasn't a game, it'd be anarchy. So you have to have a game. I want to be very honest with you here. Don't resent the fact that life is a game. You can be a little bit pissed that you think the game should be a little bit more equal, a little bit more fair. But what you got to do, brothers, you got to play the game a little bit. I could lie to you. You got to play the game to do what you need to do at times in life. I played the game. I did what I needed to do in high school. I did what I needed to do in 5 years of trade school. I hated it. I went to jobs. I hated it. What I'm here to tell you, I don't want you to live a life that you hate, but I don't want to lead you astray. There's going to be times in your life that you got to do what you don't want to do. What I could tell you is if you're young, and if you're young and if you don't have children and if you don't have a big debt on your back, you're in a great position. You're in a better position than people who are 40 years old that have a six-figure job and then have a mortgage, 5 kids, and a still paying off college loan debt. Brother, you don't have any kids. You're young. You have your whole life ahead of you. Don't have children early. Don't get married early, and don't take on a lot of debt, and work. Even if you work something simply, but something you love, keep income coming in, and use your gift and try to figure out a way to balance those things. If you live simply, if you show up consistently and you play the game a little bit and you stay positive and you keep the right people around you, life will be better. Will it be excellent all the time? No. It'll be better though than getting trapped in a system that even though you can expose the fact that the system is crooked, if you spend your whole time trying to expose the system at neglecting your own self-care and your own self-work, you're going to hurt yourself. I don't want you to hurt yourself. I want you to play the game a little bit, take care of yourself, and then as you grow, try to make the system a little bit better. That would be my opinion. That's what I do in my life. Good job. Travel man. If they started vehicle life in their 20s, they'd be balling today. Not necessarily. Because there's a scripture that says hoarding cash can harm the saver because much can be put in risky investments and lost. If you hoard cash, especially if you're young, you may get tempted to risk it. You may blow it, and saving can blow a hole in your wallet. I think there may be a season of your life where you have to experience financial tragedy. I don't want you to, but there may be a season for that. You need to, just like you have to experience love tragedy and everything else. Try to remember this. Always keep a certain amount in savings for 6 months to a year. Now, it took me a long ass time to get $1,000 in savings, long ass time. So, but I would say start there if you're young. Start with a goal. Dave Ramsey preached, I do believe in that. Start with a goal of $1,000 in savings and never touch that $1,000, and then progressively try to build that up to a year's worth of expenses. Your savings is your number one asset in life. Not investment, not stock market, not real estate, savings account. Your liquid savings account is your number one financial tool for peace. But it's hard not to tap to the piggy bank. Your income is the other part of financial freedom. And not just a side hustle, not just electrical contracting business that you do side work, not just a YouTube channel, something that you know every week you're going to get at least this amount. Steady income and a savings account is your ticket to freedom. But never forget that you were once in bondage. Never forget those who are still struggling. And, that's what I was sure. Joe Boss driving and listening. OC. I'm 15, 5'11", 225, and am I obese? If you're 15 and 5'11", 225, no. That's almost pretty much what I am. Good night. Good night. Good night, guys. This is my people from Starbucks. They're good people, man. They give me extra soy milk, too. What I could tell you is you're not. I mean, I don't know if you're being, funny or whatever. Look, people want to be funny. I understand. Like, everyone's different. I mean, whatever. Traveling van. 1 second, brother. One second, guys. One second, I'm coming. Okay, travel man. Nah, just a little chubby. Yep. Tara, OC, download the app called Monitor My Weight. It will tell you your body fat, uh, BMI, etc. Well, Tara is very into self care as far as, and I appreciate that and I respect that. I saw that on her videos. She understands the value of going for a walk. She understands the value of cooking at home and feeding your body healthy food. She understands the value of self care. And Tara, that's why I really have confidence in you and I love you. Sean Murphy, high school football week. Tinkerbell, how do you lay your side window back blackouts? I hand my blackouts on my side windows with a window, but I want to cook to look more concealed. Well, I don't put my window covers up until at night, until I'm at the campground or wherever I'm going to stay, whether it's Walmart, truck stop. And so, like right before I get ready to go, I set everything up in my back so I don't have to get out of my car when I get to the place I'm going. And then I just set all my stuff up. So usually, when I get there, like what is it now? It's almost 9 o'clock. So usually I get to the wherever I'm going to be like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And I'm usually up by 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock the latest, and I'm out of there. So I try to preset my car up before I go to the place I'm going to sleep, even if it's at a campground. Now, if it's at a campground, sometimes I'll set up there. But being that I come in the campground so late at night, I try to pre-set up my car so I don't have to get out of my car. Most campgrounds have a quiet hour starting at 11 p.m. Some have a quiet hour starting at 10 p.m., meaning that, you don't want to be driving your car through the campground, getting out of your car, slamming the door at that time of night. So the pre-setup in setting up your car, your side blackouts before you get to the location you're going to sleep is key, so that whenever you get there, you're quiet, you go to sleep, you wake up, and you're out of there. In most cases, that's how I handle it. Sean Murphy. Jackson Brown, for America, says it all. I don't know him. I'd have to read him. Thank you. Travel Man. Some chunky buzzcut lesbian just mashed her tatas on a glass. What? And who says romance is dead? It's getting popping over there on the west coast of Florida. All right, Traveling Man. Sean Murphy. Factory job disappeared. That was 70s middle class. Well, I totally agree. That was the end of the industrial era. We're in a technology era. In a technology era, there's gonna be a need for universal basic income. Look up Andrew Yang for 2020. Queen. I wish it was hot here. Well, I can understand that. Lucas. Hey, say Merry Christmas from Brazil. I will. Love and respect to Brazil. I had a couple, one main friend that was Brazilian growing up. Love and respect to Brazil, man. Dylan, happy holidays, brother. Thank you. Take care and have a great New Year's. Crazy world out there. It is crazy, Dylan. A lot of good people. There's some negative ones. I always say, like, if you meet 10 people throughout the course of the day, if 9 people say great things about you, but one person says a negative thing about you, you tend to reflect on the one person, but never forget the 90% of people that were encouraging and kind to you. Apathy sucks. Curious Sam, do you think it sounds the same to rent out rooms in my house for extra income and buy Home Depot shed, insulate it, and live in my yard? In my opinion, Apathy, I would not do that. In my opinion, you should do whatever you want. I believe once you rent out your house, you're going to have more mental pain, and they may damage your house, and you're going to be very frustrated. And in setting up your shed, you could do it if you have a house on your main property, but technically to live in, if your tenants got mad at you, technically they could report you to the county, because many times you can't live in your shed without certain being set up a certain way. But I mean, that chances of that happening, no. All I could tell you is you're probably going to go through more mental aggravation doing that. In my opinion, you should do whatever you want. So for me, I would sell my property. That's what I've done. I would liquidate my property, and I wouldn't tell you to live out of your car, but I would tell you to either liquidate your property and first, then buy another small, quaint little place and live there. But if you like the area you live, and if you can afford it, then I would say stay there and then maybe look at that option. But if you can't afford it and you need to get ahead, for me, this is my opinion, I don't want to lead people astray. I don't believe in renting out. My mom had a multifamily house, and even though it was a blessing to have it, it's constant mental aggravation and physical work and repairs, and you're dealing with more personalities. See me, I mean, you guys know me. I don't like dealing with a lot of people. And when you're a landlord, you're taking on a job. When you're a landlord, what I've learned from real life experience, when you're a landlord, you are taking on a job. You're not getting free income. You're taking on a job. Now, it's going to be either feast or famine. Some months may go great. And then other months they may cause now you got to replace a sink, you got to replace a toilet, you got to replace a carpet. Your neighbors are backed up in rent. They lost their job. Your renters, I mean. And then there's conflict of interest because like when you have a job, you leave your job and you go home and you have solitude. You have time to repair. If you're going to live on the same property that you have your job on, that you rent out, you're never going to have a disconnect. You're never going to have a separation. The place where you live, your business lives, and you're dealing with other people, and there has to be absolute harmony, or else you're going to have absolute lack of sanity. Like I said, nothing is worth your peace. So I want you to do whatever you want, just like I want everyone to do whatever they want. But for me personally, I would not do that. I would figure out another way, but I would not be a renter and then live in the back yard in a shed. Thank you, though, Apathy. Sense Philly. Merry Christmas. Thank you, Sense. I appreciate that. Gilbert, good evening, Sam. And it is a brick outside. The hawk is out up in Queens. I'm not surprised. Apathy sucks. I do appreciate your wisdom and your time. Well, thank you, Apathy. You are incredibly articulate and understanding about real life hidden emotional and mental suffering over money and loss. Apathy sucks. Thank you, because you get me. By you saying that comment, now I know you understand what I'm saying. And that's a huge compliment to me, and I thank you. Jacqueline, hugs. Hey, Jacqueline, thank you. Thank you, Jacqueline. AI Gaming, Canada's in the house. Merry Christmas, Sam. Merry Christmas to you and everyone up north. Thank you. Apathy sucks. Do you ever get exhausted from explaining to people that you like to be alone? Not people that I kind of feel get me or sincere. I used to in the beginning, especially my YouTube channel, I used to lash out on people sometimes. But sometimes people play a game with me and then I get frustrated. But I've learned through maturity, through failure, to step back and to realize, like, look, I am on a platform that people are going to ask me about this. And I'm trying to grow where I explain myself to people over and over again, as long as it's not the same people all the time with the same things. Then I just cut them off because I just realize that they don't get me. It's not that they're my enemy and I'm their enemy. It's just that they don't get me. And so what I've learned in life through my relationship failures is never stay in a relationship where someone doesn't get you. Because no matter how well you articulate yourself or vice versa, there's something there that's not clicking. And it's a waste of energy. It's a waste of time. And it's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt them. And so that's a good question. That's how I handle it. Michael, self-inflicted pain. Sometimes you need to ignore your internal critic. Oh, I agree with that. Peace and love, Michael. Great comment, brother. Good job. John, I will check out your discouraged video. Well, thank you, John. And thank you again, Live and Let Live. I appreciate that. Thank you. Karen, love you. Merry Christmas, Sam. Merry Christmas to you. Up the stairs to read. Gotta set these cookies out for Santa. I'm not mad at that. I love you, Karen. Somebody give me a cookie emoji and a Santa Claus emoji. And Karen running up the stairs. Maybe not running, but you know what I mean. Karen, I love you. It's still magical to leave cookies out for Santa. I believe in that. And I hope that Karen's really doing that. I really do. Those little moments put a smile on your face. Like even like at times, like when I go by and I see people have their house decorated for Christmas, even though like all that work discourages me, I thank God that certain people do that because it puts a smile on my face. And there's people that drive around with their families just to look at houses that are decorated. That encourages people. Even when I'm at campgrounds, there's some people that they dress up their camper with all these different Christmas lights, and that's encouraging to me. I don't do it. I'm in a car, I don't got no Christmas lights, but I'm just sharing that those little things, like, leaving the cookies out, like a magical light, those little things make a big difference. Apathy. Merry Christmas, Karen. Yeah, Karen's a blessing. I have a peaceful night. Good job, Apathy. Thank you. And thank you again, Apathy. I appreciate that support. Thank you. Rattling it down. Hey, rattling it down. Hey, Sammy. How do you figure out what your gift is? Good question. Thanks for your inspiration always. Good question. Here's my answer. How do you figure out what your gift is? Whatever comes easiest to you, and if nothing comes easy to you, walk and listen to music till you figure it out. How do you figure out what your gift is? Whatever comes easiest to you, and if nothing comes easiest to you, take a walk and listen to music until you figure it out. Good job. Jack, know what good? No, now what? Good for a cold night? Okay. Thank you, Jack. Merry Christmas. Thank you, Haney. I appreciate that. Live and let live. Good night to all. Thank you, Live and Let Live, again for everything. Healthy Christmas. Same back to you. Thank you, Live and Let Live. Thank you. Apathy. You too live and you too Live and Let Live. Thank you for supporting her. Yeah, Merry Christmas. Yep. Queen. Eskimos live in igloos. Queen came in with hot. Good job, Queen. Give me an Eskimo emoji, Queen. Zelda. Merry Christmas Eve, Sam. Stay safe and blessed. Zelda, thank you for staying with me. Thank you, because I've noticed you being consistent and always encouraging me. Thank you. I don't know what that is. Okay. Queen, hot cocoa is good for a cold night. I used to love hot cocoa. A lot of sugar, though. There's a lot of sugar in hot chocolate. I used to love it, though. And that with marshmallows. Marshmallows is all sugar, too, but I understand. I don't speak a second language. I'm sorry, Stan. But thank you for the comment. Queen, don't forget to put milk out and cookies for Santa. Yeah, Karen did that. Best wishes from Europe. Stan, I can understand that, and I thank you for the people who view from all over the world. Man, that's encouraging to me. Thank you. Sean Journal, this tuna in a can today is not good. It's from Fish Farm. Ugh. Well, I understand. My mom used to like tuna in a can. She still eats that at times. Well, a lot of mayo, though. Tuna can be good, but you got to watch out stuff in cans with sodium. Stan, our lands were taken. Okay. Stan, no jobs in Eastern Europe. Really? I don't know enough about that to speak on it, but thank you for sharing. Sean Murphy, after living in houses several years, he says, after living in rooming houses for several years, I met the good, the bad, and the ugly. Well, amen, brother. I hear that. Marin, 2 palm trees, heart emoji tonight, sending high vibes. I appreciate that. Bear hug with deep respect, heart, and 2 palm trees. Marin, the love is reciprocated and appreciated, and I give you a bear hug out there in Sanibel Island or west coast of Florida. Queen, how did that happen? Marion gave the cookie emojis for Santa. Good job, Marion. Apathy sucks. Good advice. I hate that area. I hate the house. The neighbors are noisy and unfriendly. Huh, get out of there. Your suggestion was my first idea. Your first idea is usually your best. I can't live in my car. I can understand that because of my disability. I understand that. There are cheap apartments or there's cheap properties. You may have to go a little bit away from the oceans or a little bit away from cities. But even in Florida, I found that one property for $25,000, and that was in a safe, good community. It was just a little bit in the middle of nowhere. But if you're retired, if you're living on disability, there's properties like that out there. Like in Okeechobee, Florida, there's RV rentals for like $300 a month. So, there's different places in Florida, in whatever state you're in, that you can live cheaply and simply in safe neighborhoods, but you're going to have to go a little bit away from the normal. And if you're on disability, if you're on some type of social security or something, you don't need to live by the city anymore. And you have to cut away from certain family members and friends if you're going to live your best life. You'll have more money to travel to see them if that's what you want to do. Good job. Queen, okay. Stan, want to switch places? No, I'm thankful. I don't want to switch places with anyone. I don't want to switch places with Donald Trump. Okay. Donald Trump's a billionaire. I don't want to switch places with him. Okay. Do you? Good question. Apathy, Santa Claus emojis. Good job. I love you, Queen. I mean, not Queen. Apathy. Apathy sucks. Gave me Santa Claus emojis. Thank you, Apathy. I was thinking about the other guy. I thought, Apathy, I love you. Thank you for the support. All right, guys. I can't believe it. 2-hour plus live feed. One of my longest. Sean Murphy, do you pray once a day? I try to. Do you pray once a day? I pray all the time. but not like necessarily in a prayer. What I try to remember is I try to say the Our Father once, and I try not to ramble. Even Jesus said, don't ramble, don't pray on and on. God already knows what you want. So I try to say that, but then I also just try to remember, like Jesus said, you don't keep praying. Like, God's with you in the spirit. And like, I just talk to God in my regular vibe. Thank you. Oh, well, I'm with you. Yeah, you don't respect people on Trump. I'm with you on that. Adam, I want to run for office, Congress, 2020. I'm not mad at you. Shalom, Americans. Shalom back to you. Thank you. Apathy. Have a good self-care Christmas, Sam. Thank you, Apathy. Thank you, everyone, for the support. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Data Geek. Thank you, Live and Let Live. Thank you, Apathy Sucks. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone who clicked the thumbs up on this video. If you didn't click the thumbs up, I appreciate if you do. I appreciate if you share the video. Thank you, John. Have a great night also. I used to go to midnight mass when I was in the Catholic Church, and even when I was in non-denominational church. If anyone's going to that, God bless you. If you're not, if you're atheist, I love and respect you. If you're a different religion, I love and respect you. Too late to get into a heavy topic, but I love you and I appreciate you. Please come back tomorrow. I go live every night on this channel. Thank you, everyone. Prayer, apathy, I agree. Love and respect, and peace be with you. Thank you, Jay, for watching the entire thing. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.